What up, QC crew? King Day is in the mother building.
Run it up for up. JBRISKO, not know when it's up. Run that shit, we had all the show. Say that shit for your camera.
Warning. Everything said in this video and on this platform is strictly my opinion and all alleged. Here, we speak about hot topics on YouTube and other social media platforms for entertainment and conversational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised.
What it do? It is your homie King Day here in King's Corner, and I am back with another reaction video for you. Now look, what up y'all? We are back with part 3 of Who the F Did I Marry? All right, so we got Brittany here, and she's telling a story about how she married a woman and then went through the process of divorcing that woman. And during the process of divorcing that woman, she became a man. She transitioned to a man, and things started to come out about how she is a sociopath, okay? She ain't right in the head. Now, go check out part 1 and part 2. If you was here last time, then you know I was a lot ticked off on part 2. I had to take a real break, a whole 24-hour break, all right? But now we back, and we're going to continue the story. So look, I ain't gonna hold you no longer. I never do. If you mess with me like I mess with you, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. We're gonna get straight into this video. Let's get it. Let go.
The F did I marry? And no, this isn't an episode, but I wanted to give you guys an update. Since doing this series, I have heard from numerous amounts of women that have dated Melissa/Melvin. In this update, I'm going to be referring to Melissa as she, since at this point a lot of the women that I've talked to have talked to Melissa as a she.
Okay.
First off, I talked to the second ex-wife, the one that I talked about in part 1 and part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa had said that she married that ex-wife because the ex-wife needed insurance, right? The ex-wife has clarified that she did not, in fact, even have Melissa's insurance, and that's a fucking lie. And basically, they got married under the assumption, like anything, that they were in a relationship, and Melissa kept pushing on the concept of having kids with the second ex-wife, and the second ex-wife did not want that. She said they didn't want it. They were vulnerable when they met her. They came down and moved in with her. Same story, got engaged, same story, got married, justice of the peace, same story, didn't change her last name, same story. And then when Melissa realized that the second ex-wife wasn't going to give them kids, basically already started throwing her away. Basically, so Melissa's on the back end finding somebody else to talk to because now she can't get supply from the ex-wife. Y'all, guess who she finds to talk to? Me. So before the ex-wife later found out, after she found out about me later, that she was moving out of their house, or still, like, they were still breaking up when Melissa met me. And she had the same story as me, where it's like you met this person at your most vulnerable place, and they just like lied this whole story up for you to feel comfortable, and then later on use that same story against you, make you feel like shit, put you down, make you feel like you can only be with them, don't talk to your friends, don't talk to your families, only love me, only care about me, but I only want you unless you're giving me something, and if you're not giving me something, I don't want you. Oh, and maybe that's just a coincidence. Nope. I obviously, you guys know, am good friends with Taurus, the ex from part 7, and same story. Moved her in, told her, hey, I'm still married, but you know, I really want to be with you, we can get remarried, I'd like to have another kid, are you willing to have a kid? And like, you know, it went the way that it went, and then obviously, you know, they're not together, and I can't tell you the rest without telling you everything else. But guess what? There's another pattern, because after Taurus, there's somebody else that's willing to catch the supply of this person. And what's crazy is at this point, I'm doing my best to warn as many women as I can, and they have still managed to be with, I don't know, 4 to 5 people in between the when the divorce started and when the divorce ended. And not only that, a majority of these women were lied to about the fact that Melissa was transitioning. A lot of them said that Melissa was even on dating sites under the lesbian tab, and then trying to make it seem like she was still a lesbian but was on the back end transitioning, and would make all these comments about transition, and everyone's like, yeah, like, well, we like girls, and she'd be like, oh, you know, haha, just like gauging it. But she was transitioning, and everybody, no one knew it. And the sad part of this story is the women that I talked to met my son. All of them met him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it, you know, it's really sad, and like, obviously,
How
like,
many
I
women
know
after?
It's upsetting. It's extremely upsetting to me. But not only did they meet them, they seen the living arrangements that I spoke very poorly on.
Mm-hmm.
They all were like, I did not fuck with it. It was not cool. They talked told me
But
about
what did
how
they do to
bad
change
Melissa
it?
talked about me. Not just like in front of them, talked down on me, made it seem like I was gonna kill them or I was crazy. I'm talking multiple different women. Multiple different women have met my son. And I know you guys have combed through social media. You're not gonna find pictures of my son on the internet or anything like that. All these women talk to Melissa for I don't know how long, not very long, and then meet my child. And based on the synopsis, it seems like my child is the pawn to make people feel comfortable. Oh, look at me. I'm a parent. Look at me. I'm a parent. You can't do nothing but trust me because I'm a parent, right? Look how good of a parent I am. Look how good of a parent I am.
But when they get there and see that she's not that good of a
Melissa's only
parent,
a good parent if somebody's watching, right? Because that's what narcissists do. This is all for fucking show. All for fucking show. To sit here and not even care about what you do and how that affects your child, you don't give a fuck about him. And you don't give a fuck about these women. And I'm happy that these women are coming forward and telling their story. And honestly, I hope that more women continue to tell their story about Melissa/Melvin, because it's not gonna stop. He's not gonna stop. He's not going to stop until he finds a supply. He's not going to stop until he finds another wife who's willing to have another kid, who's not going to be strong enough to leave. Because let me tell you something. Every single woman that I've talked to, or just about all of them, we all ended up in this place of being so mentally unwell, so fucking, like, just really struggling to survive. And that person preyed on us. Bad. This is not a little game. This is not like some video or some fun story for clicks. This is people's real life. And like, if you are dealing with the Melissa/Melvin or whatever, you need to protect yourself, watch for the signs, and do what you can. Please don't be like me and have a kid with a fucking narcissist. Please don't be like me. Who the F did I marry? And no.
Now pause the movie, cause what I'm about to say to y'all is so damn twisted.
I know you guys are wanting part 7, and it's Saturday, and I'm super busy, and I promise
so many
you I will
updates.
do my best. But I did want to give a little bit of information, so that way when part 7 comes out, you guys kind of have an understanding of like where we are with this whole thing.
Okay.
So Ashley is my girlfriend, and at the time, Ashley was divorcing Caroline. And Ashley and Caroline do have a kid, so it was not just divorce, it was also custody. Now, I just want to say that Ashley was willing to give Caroline everything. She wasn't trying to do the back and forth. She was ready to sign the papers. She was just doing everything she could to just remain a good parent and to just be done with the drama, because Ashley's just not really the type of person to like feed into stuff like this. Mm-hmm. Even with all of that, Caroline was stalking us. I ended up finding out a lot of information when they were going through their divorce, because you have to turn in documentation to each other, where Caroline and Kathy had been stalking me from day one. Now, mind you, at this point, we still don't know that Caroline and Kathy were talking to Melissa/Melvin. Okay, I need my board right now. I'm so sorry. But it was crazy. I'm talking following us to the house. I'm talking showing up to my house unannounced. She was taking pictures of my outfits, putting them in Google, finding the cost, and then going to Ashley and say, give me the money. She was calling me every name in the book, doing whatever she could to make it difficult. Just constant egging on for still. And I want to be clear, and I want to say this quote, and I want you guys to understand it for what it is. It is impossible to co-parent with someone that hates you more than they love their kids. And that is the description of the type of stuff that we're dealing with. People are bitter. and what they're willing to do to achieve being evil is insane to me. But anywho, stay tuned because it gets really good, and I am hoping to have part 7 uploaded today, and I do think I'll be going live tonight to answer some questions about part 1 through whatever I have out at the time, so hopefully 7. But I just want to thank you guys for holding on. I don't mean to drag the story out. I just work. I'm a mom. I have to do my day-to-day, and I am not used to uploading videos. I'm not good at it, so I'm doing the best that I can. So thank you. Well,
Next part.
Part 8 of Who the Did I Marry? So I left off on the part that Melvin is now aware that they're going to court, and Melvin is now aware that Taurus is going to be testifying on my behalf. So of course, what does a narcissist do? He starts trying to make and do little things to try and scare everybody involved. So like I posted on the last video at the end, like a message where they're talking to Taurus's mom about like, how could she do this to me? Now I'll have to actually be a real parent. Like, that's crazy to me. And if you haven't seen it, please go look at it. It's ridiculous. So at this point, me and Taurus are building the case, or I really don't have to build a case. I have a case. So really, she's just giving me as much info as she has. And let me tell you, it was crazy how much info she had. But like, I really wanted to focus on the transition thing because it was like just a lack of stability. And the thing that was crazy is like, even in the relationship with Taurus, I'm not going to transition. All I'm going to do is get top surgery. I don't want to transition. I don't want to be a she/her. And like within a week was like, just kidding. I'm gonna make the rest of my gender affirming care, schedule out. Like, just like overnight, like just like on some crazy shit. Like, it was just really weird because I'm trying to understand, like, why are you trying to hide your transition? If this is like your true self, why are you hiding it? And
right.
Like, why are you being so secretive about it? No one cares about you transitioning. Everyone really just wonders why you can't be honest, why you gotta scam women and saying that you're not doing it when you are. Like, if you aren't comfortable with transitioning, like,
you shouldn't be transitioning.
You don't actually want to, and maybe you're just doing it for the attention. I'm not sure. Who knows? I don't know. So we get to court, and of course, I am with Ashley, my girlfriend, and with Taurus, Melvin's ex-girlfriend, and they are there to, obviously, for support, but also to testify in the event that I need those people to testify. Cool. Y'all, imagine outfits. Melvin comes to court with Caroline by his side.
And
Caroline,
they're matching.
Ashley's ex-wife. I don't have my board, and I'm really sorry, but I want to get this done for you. So Melvin shows up with Caroline, and cool, we're in the courtroom. The divorce is agreed upon. Obviously, Melvin, who is representing themselves, is wanting to keep this,
Oh, yeah, the lawyer quit. Okay.
And obviously, I'm going in there vouching for something different.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, everyone testifies. Taurus testifies. Even Caroline gets on the stand talking about absolutely nothing. So I don't really understand what their whole thing was. But like, they did not come to court ready to fight. They came to court ready to try and prove a bunch of stuff that didn't matter. Like, this is not civil court. And what was focused on for some reason is the main focus in court was Melvin kept saying something about like, oh, well, I'm about to be fired from my job, and Taurus and Brittany have something to do with the fact that I'm getting fired from my job. Mind you, this case is about something completely separate. Everybody is confused. My lawyer's like, what is she talking about? The judge is like, what are you talking about? And she's basically like, just keeps asking us, like, that's all she's worried about. She's not worried about my son. She's not worried about any of the other things we're in there for. Also, in court, they had said like, oh, like, I'm gonna have to move from the place that I'm currently living because my lease is up. And so, so everyone's like, okay, like, well, where's your new address? Oh, I don't have one yet. Okay, like, whatever. And, oh, okay, so it seems like you might lose your job. Like, do you have another job? Nope. Okay, cool. So court ends up, like, it was focused on so many other things other than what it needed to be. And I'm just happy, like, I had a good lawyer who, like, focused on what was important.
Okay.
So, boom, court goes as expected. The judge makes his judgment. And the next day, so we're good. We're happy. The next day, I'm out, and all of a sudden, I get a call like, yo, like, your ex is making and doing, like, some threatening stuff on TikTok. And I'm like, okay. So I get on there, and Melvin is in there talking about oh, they got me fired from my job and, whatever, and trust me, I'll figure it out, and, they have jobs, so I wonder what I'm going to do about that, and so on and so forth. Now, mind you, I know a lot of y'all work. You can't just get fired from a job without cause. Like, whatever you did is simply your business, but, like, take accountability. Don't blame anybody for your demise. Then they were on there saying, oh, and the reason that I got the new schedule that I got is because they're transphobic. Court system is transphobic. You know what I mean? Like, that is why. And, like, mind you, anybody that's ever been in any type of court when it comes to their children, you not just losing time because the other person is like, you gotta have a reason. You gotta have a good reason. Now, at this point, we had already noticed some things, but Ashley's daughter, who is Caroline's daughter, ends up, she's older than my son, so she could talk a little bit better, and ends up telling us that, Melvin and Caroline are in a relationship, and that Melvin lives over there. Even to the point was calling Melvin daddy, like, bruh, wild. Now, what's crazy about this is this person, a mother, sits in court and sees the conditions that, and sees the testimony that we give, and also sees the testimony of the girlfriend, where she is saying, I do not trust this person around my child. I do think that they are not in a position to be a parent. They aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and they are unstable. Like, you're watching this as a person and you're just going along with it because you guys probably have heard about this. Narcissists have these people that ride down for them called flying monkeys. Now, flying monkeys, because they hate you, they believe everything a narcissist says. It doesn't matter how bad it is or what this narcissist is doing to you, they're okay with it because they want to believe so badly that you're this awful, terrible person. So at this point, Melvin is living and presumably dating Caroline, my girlfriend's ex-wife.
Okay.
Now, honestly, good on you. But it just proves that the scam is still alive and well. But honestly, they've kind of found the perfect person to scam, right? Because this person hates me just as much as they do. So it's just like perfect, right? They could both sit there and talk shit, and like they're okay with their relationship being like that. And like I said before, good on you. But I do want to point something out that I think is crazy that anybody would be willing to allow. Anybody that knows who I'm talking about can confirm that this person, Melvin, who is black, has only ever dated white women, mixed women, Asian women, anybody that looks different than they do. Because honestly, there's a lot of self-hatred in there, right? Like, this person hates women, they hated being a woman, and they hate themselves. Melvin has found him a dark-skinned woman that has...
For those of you who've seen those tweets that popped up, they just simply said nasty things about dark-skinned women. I'm going to read messages. I want to give y'all this disclaimer too. I am going to read messages, but I'm going to read important messages. All right? I'm not going to read every single message that comes up on the screen. She has them coming quick anyway. And it's just a hassle to try and rewind when they pass. But I'm going to try to stay on it. Those tweets was just saying crazy things about dark-skinned women. That's it.
Found him a dark-skinned woman that has everything that he needs as far as resources. So guess what? On to a new scam. This is going to be the last video. Hopefully nothing else happens. But I want to say this. I am so happy that I've done this. Like, my moms out there who are dealing with a narcissistic co-parent, I commend you. Never stop fighting. Never stop trying. And if you see people with narcissistic qualities, call them out. Leave them. Go away. Leave them where the fuck they're at. Try to use your intuition. Friends, if you see people that are, all of a sudden your friends are disappearing and they're dating somebody weird, fucking say something. Don't leave them in the dark. Like, try it. Try your best and keep going for them. We need community with each other to stop things like this. Once again, I just have to thank you guys because I was nervous that everyone was going to come at me and be like, how could you be so fucking stupid? But honestly, I have gotten so much grace from you guys, and that was a source of healing for me too, because I blame myself for being in this situation, and I sometimes forget that I was a victim in this situation, and I don't like calling myself a victim, but I was preyed upon, and I have to give myself grace, and I'm really thankful to everybody that's listened. Love you guys. Welcome to part 8 of Who the
All right, part 9.
If you're new here, I married a woman, had a kid with a woman, divorced that same woman. During the divorce, they transitioned to a man, lost custody, and now they owe child support and live with my fiance's ex. That's a mouthful. If you haven't, I do have a story time that's like 1 through 8 with a few in between pieces in a playlist on top of my profile. But this is gonna be leaving off where that ended, which was around that February time frame, because a lot of stuff has changed. If you haven't watched the story, I'm going to try and give as much background now, so that way you could just kind of jump in, because it is definitely, it's crazy regardless. Okay, so by popular demand, I made a board. Throughout the story, I'll try to show the board. Take note, it is confusing. And this screen is inverted, so it's kind of hard. All right, so this is me. I have one kid. I was pregnant with donor sperm. I at one point was married to Melissa. Melissa transitioned to Melvin. We divorce. On this side, we have Ashley, my fiance. She has one kid with Caroline. Caroline being pregnant and using donor sperm. They are divorced. Okay. We basically me and Ashley got together during the divorce, so that in itself was complicated. Okay, down here you see Melvin and Caroline, and you also see a little line that says Taurus. Taurus is important in the story. She was the ex-girlfriend who lived with Melvin during the front part of the divorce, and she has one kid with another parent, no relation in any way to Melvin. Neither is Caroline and Ashley's kid to Melvin. So Melvin and Caroline are now together. Okay, so this is the thing. Woo, sorry, that's a mouthful. Like I said, I'll refer to this as much as I can. So basically, I'll start at, first off, this is a very long divorce. I tried to be civil in the beginning. I filed with no lawyer. You take yours, I take mine. We have 50-50 custody of the kid. They went and got a lawyer for whatever reason, so I went and got one too. So basically, back and forth, but I'm still ready to sign. Just sign the papers. Like, I'm not winning anything. I'm not getting any money. Like, just leave me alone. You owe me a ton of money. Like, I'm never going to get that, so whatever. Like, just...
So what's going on right here while she's explaining this again, some time has went on. She has not uploaded on TikTok. Let me see how long that was. It was like 6 months. It's like 6 months. She hadn't uploaded on TikTok for about 6 months at this point, or at least talked about this story. So she kind of giving an update. We're going to go ahead and fast forward through it a little bit. Let's skip forward.
So, boom. Get to court. Honestly, my judge was over it. Was just like, listen, give Melvin the schedule they want. I don't care. Like, you know, sometimes the court system is not gracious. Cool. I'm pissed. I'm livid. Because this is, once again, really tough on my child, because let me be clear, my child was told to call Taurus mommy, was told to call, you know, going on with Melvin being daddy, and now my son is calling Caroline mommy. So, and then you separate the kids, so now it's just this shitty situation. Boom. So they now, from the time frame that the original divorce happened, like where they refused to sign, was from October to February. That means that during that time, the attorney general couldn't enforce child support, because you have to upload your signed decree to do that. So basically, this whole entire time frame, they don't even get any disciplinary action for not paying any money. So February, like I said, the court decides on Melvin's schedule, and I'm able to upload the paperwork to the Attorney General system to be able to start managing child support. Okay, so mind you, like I said, October to February, no child support. In December, basically, I don't know what happened and whether or not this was the time of some type of surgery, but this was the year that they get my son for Christmas.
Okay.
Okay? This whole entire time frame during Christmas, they were not allowing me to talk to my son. I didn't even get to talk to my son on Christmas, which is really hard for me. But based off of what the kid said, there was a huge surgical factor to this. Them going to visit Melvin in the hospital and Melvin having specific bandaging. Kids are going to tell it. Kids are going to tell it. So I'm a little frustrated because in my head, I'm like, if you did get a surgery, you didn't have a job, and you weren't paying child support, and then the audacity to not even let me speak to my child, now you're, once again, fucking with my child's mental, because now he's not speaking to his mother on Christmas. On Christmas. Like, I've never been away from my son. On Christmas? Come on. So, after that, what happens? So, during this whole entire time, Caroline is harassing Ashley. Basically, Caroline and Melvin have been harassing me and my fiance for this whole entire time.
Y'all
and
engaged
to be
now.
fair, Caroline still does. During this time frame, Melvin, so basically right after they put, Taurus left the house, which was around that, July, August time frame, Melvin basically moved in with Caroline. And they were, kind of obvious about it, because they even showed up to court with Caroline. So they had just broken up with Taurus and then moved in with Caroline. So my child is going from calling Taurus mommy to calling Caroline mommy within a span of 2 months. Within a span of 2 months. And that's just the beginning of what I'm about to say. If you're new here, I married a woman, had a kid with a woman, divorced that same woman. During the divorce, they transitioned to a man, lost custody, and now they owe child support and live with my fiance's ex. Okay. There's a playlist at the top of my profile, Who the F Did I Marry, if you want to start from the beginning. If not, here we go. So yesterday I left off with Melvin and Caroline live together. So Melvin and Caroline are the exes of me and my fiance, Ashley. Melvin and Caroline got together during both of our divorces, and basically to feed back information to one another. And yeah, now they are together, I guess. Cool. So they're living together. We knew they were living together, although Melvin tried to conceal their address for months and months and months and months. Pretty much any identifying information Melvin tried to conceal. Obviously against a court order, so had to deal with that as well. Anyways, so at this point, the weekend schedule, we're fighting back and forth about the weekend schedule. Because I'm the primary parent, so I have my son throughout the weeks and all that good stuff. But the few weeks, during the month, they get a few weekends or whatever. So there's the standard one, which I think is 1 through 5. And then the schedule that my kid was on for weekends originally was every other, to match with my fiance's weekend schedule. Because Caroline is the primary parent of their kid. So it's literally a fucking swap. So we were just keep the kids on the same schedule. Fuck all this bullshit. Keep them on the same schedule. I literally tried so hard that I told Melvin, from October to February, I will literally waive all your child support for those months that you owe me if you just keep the kids on the same weekend schedule. Nope, they said no. Cool. So we end up in court in February, and we get in front of the judge, and the judge is basically like, hey man, throw this man a bone. He already lost, primary custody. We might as well just let him have the fucking schedule. Let him have the fucking weekends. Okay, but I'm hot. I'm pissed. And I didn't know this, but when you're in court and you have a lawyer, you cannot speak to the judge unless the judge speaks directly to you. So I'm like, wait. Hey, you about to split 2 kids? I'm super upset. And everyone's like, shh, no, don't say anything. And I'm looking at my lawyer like, girl, stand up, do something. Because this is wild to me. So I'm pissed, I'm hot, legs shaking, and at this point my lawyer is up at the podium with Melvin, and they're signing the decree, because now the judge is like, you gonna sign this in front of my face, because there's no reason that it should have not been signed for almost 5 months. Anyways, so I'm pissed. So Melvin comes down to walk through the pews Ashley's with me. She's in the back in the pews. And so as Melvin is passing me, I'm like, I'm gonna get you. Because at this point, I'm like, okay, you want to play these little nasty games? We about to get real specific. This little idiot turns around to the judge and goes, did you hear her say that she's gonna get me? And the judge is like, rolls his eyes. The judge rolls his eyes and he's like, man, I'll put both of y'all in contempt. And at this point, I don't even hear the judge. I'm like, whatever. So I get up and I'm walking too. Ashley's getting up, but once I got in the hallway, Ashley heard the judge say like, oh, y'all need to go get the security out there probably. So I'm in the hallway, I'm yelling, because I'm like, you owe me child support. You need to make sure you understand stuff, because like I said, Melvin likes to play stupid on purpose. Like Melvin will be like, oh, I didn't know that I had to do that. Oh no, woe is me. And it's just like, no, you're pretending not to know how to read so you can play stupid. So anyways, I'm in the hallway, I'm yelling. And the security guard comes up to me and she's like, are you good? Do you need anything? And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, no, lady, I just need to get out of here. So I'm with Ashley. Ashley's like, Brittany, calm down. Brittany, calm down. We get on the elevator. We go downstairs in the courthouse because my lawyer had to file some paperwork. So I get the paperwork, or no, she's filing the paperwork. I'm in the hallway because I'm trying to calm down. And so Ashley's trying to calm me down. Melvin walks by and I'm like, you a bitch. I said that shit loud in the courthouse. Here goes this little fucking baby. There's like a little admin desk or whatever. Did you hear her call me a bitch? Do you guys have cameras here? Or will you sign a statement saying that she called me a bitch? And like, it's not illegal to call anybody a bitch. And I'm just like, please grow up. Be a man. Like,
if that's what you want to be.
Chill. So at this point, I'm mad. I don't even know. So Ashley, she's such a stand-up woman. So she's like, so Melvin leaves. So Ashley's like, I'm going to go. So she didn't tell me she was going to go do this, but she went and talked to Melvin. So she sees Melvin and she's like, hey man, like, you have to understand Brittany's frustration. You know, like, you have not given her any child support. Like, you don't communicate with her. You don't let her, when her son is with you, you don't even let her talk to him. Like, you're just being really nasty. And Melvin was like, I have the child support. The reason I didn't give it is because they told me if I gave her the child support that it would be considered a gift before today because because we needed to sign this paper, which is not true, by the way. Actually, Ashley was like, literally, I'm on child support because Ashley chose that. I'm on child support, and that's not what they say. That's absolutely false, actually. And what's crazy is Melvin lives with Caroline. And Ashley pays Caroline child support. And guess what? If Ashley missed a payment of child support with Caroline, there'd probably be a warrant out for Ashley's arrest. So they know how important it is to pay child support. That household knows how important it is to pay child support. Now, here's me. Melvin owes me child support and is supposed to pay it, and I have $0.00. Okay? So Ashley knows what she's talking about. Cool. So Ashley's like, listen, man, you just need to whatever. So I don't know how, I wasn't there for the conversation, but Ashley said that also Melvin had said something like, because Ashley was like, I guess you're with my ex. That means you're around my daughter. And, you know, with that being said, like, is that what it is? Because I'm not getting a clear answer. And if this is something that's happening, I need to understand. Do you know this fool Melvin said something along the lines of, oh, well, if your daughter needs a father figure, then I'm going to step up and be that. Like a bunch of shit. And Ashley, like I said, very calm, upstanding woman was like, all right, bro. Like, okay. You know what? Like, you just need to do what you need to do and give Brittany this child support. And you know what I mean? Like, you're a fucked up person. Basically, that was the gist of it. So after that day, or during that day, I was mad. Oof, I was so mad. Like, and I'm a Gemini, so you go low, I'll take you to hell. Like, and I mean that. Anyways, so after that happens, basically funny. Actually, as that is all taking place, mind you, Caroline and Melvin at this point are dating, right? They're dating. They live in the same house. One of them gets child support and one of them is not paying child support, right? So their household is getting child support in,
but their household is paying no child support out. So my fiance is paying child support to Caroline, and Melvin lives with Caroline. Now, what do y'all think that means? That means that there's a good chance that Ashley's money is being used to fund homeless, jobless Melvin.
All right, I've been a little silent mainly because she's not really saying anything new. She's explaining and breaking down what's going on. She has a lot of comments at this point. She's responding to the comments. And this story time is a 25 part, or so I thought was a 25 part story time. I'm going to skip through some of these like updates and see if she gets back to the story so we can kind of get it flowing, because we was flowing and going in the beginning. And then when she took that break, you know, she's just pretty much answering questions and clarifying some things. But I kind of feel like she laid it out pretty smooth the first time around. I don't know. It's just like this person, to be honest, out of everyone, I don't understand. What is there not to understand? Watch it again. We're going to go ahead and fast forward through this one and see if we get back to that story.
If you're new here, I married a woman, had a kid with a woman, divorced that same woman. During the divorce, they transitioned to a man, lost custody, and now they owe child support. If you have not watched the playlist at the top of my page, please do. Continuing on. So I left off in February where court decided on Melvin's schedule.
Okay.
But during court, Melvin always going to court talking about some shit that like no one is there for, and the judge gets so confused. So Melvin kept trying to say, oh, well, I have a harassment claim out on Brittany. First off, I just want to state that every time Melvin gets the chance, they go to the cops to try and file harassment. When he found out that Taurus was getting on the stand with me, he filed harassment against her. When at that same time filed harassment on me. Then, so they kept saying that in court, right? So when I left court the next day, I called the county that I live in, and I asked if there was something open because I hadn't been contacted about anything. So they put me on the phone with a detective, and he was like, yeah, this is the situation. So basically, Melvin tried to file a harassment claim on me because one day Melvin did not take my son to school, told the school that he was sick. Then I tried to call, and they refused my call. So I called a few times because my son is sick. You need to tell me what's going on. I even called the cops. And guess what? No government agency had an address for Melvin. None of them. No, like, just ghost. So it was super frustrating. So yeah, I called a few times, and I think that that's appropriate because we're calling through an app. We're using a parenting app. So it was like, you do not get to tell the school that my son is sick and then not update his mother. Period. It's just ridiculous. So after that happened, like, of course, the detective, for all the harassment claims, none of them were legit. Nothing happened with any of them. The first, with Tauruses, they threw it out. With the first one, they were like, I mean, you're talking about the kid. Y'all just need to follow your orders. And the third one, he was like, no, closing the case. You know, nothing to note here. Cool. So after that, Melvin is like, anytime my son, in general, anytime I would go to Melvin and try to talk to them, I only talk to them about my son. Hey, you know, our son is not feeling well, or hey, this needs to happen, or, you know, whatever. No response. When I tell you that Melvin would not get in the parenting app for months, then when my son was with him, he would not answer any phone calls for me, including anything like wellness checks. And guess what? When I call the cops, they can't even do a wellness check because they don't have an address on file for him. So, really suspect for sure.
So, y'all, does that happen like state to state? Like, depending on what state you live in, that determines if they have to have an address for you or whatever? Because I thought when you were going through this with like a kid involved and you got 50-50 or joint custody or whatever the case may be, it is said that the address to where that child will be has to be on file, so I thought. Does that vary state to state? Y'all let me know.
So that's basically what was going through. Now, I start getting worried because for the type of custody that Melvin has, in the summer, those parents get some variation of 30 days. I'm like petrified because I don't get to talk to my son at all when they're in Melvin's possession. So I'm like, heck no, like, So I reach out to them and I'm like, let's come up with a schedule. Because mind you, like, we are not like talking, so we're not arguing or anything. It's just like, let me talk to my son. I could give a shit about you. So not letting me talk to my son. And so I went to them and I was like, let's come up with a schedule so I could talk. Oh, I'll have to let you know if that's something that I'm willing to do. Now, mind you, imagine a small toddler not being able to talk to their mother for 30 days. You continuously are putting my son through unnecessary trauma to be an asshole. So after that, I decided to get another lawyer. Mind you, I've gone through, God knows, I've spent so much money with lawyers. So I end up getting with a lawyer and they were like, okay, we can file all these different things based on, you know, them not letting you talk to the kid, child support, medical care, pretty much anything like that. So, because not only could no government agency find Melvin's, like, an address on file, including, like, USPS and all those places, because they checked those places, like, we didn't even have an address to serve them basically the enforcements and documentation from my lawyer. So we had to come up with a plan to serve them at an exchange because we just simply could not find an address for them. So mind you, anybody who's been through this court situation, you got to pay for the serve. I have to pay for my lawyers having to figure out how to serve this person. Like, I am constantly spending money because they are acting like they're just acting stupid. Because anytime I go to them and I try to explain something in the decree, they're like, well, that's not how I read it. What? I put it in Chat GPT. Literally. Go call a lawyer and get a free consultation. There is no reason why these simple things laid out on the decree you're being slow about. Guess what? If he has medical bills, you have to pay half of them within 30 days. I'm already paying the insurance. I have to pay those bills by myself. So all these things they're breaking. And trust me, my lawyer addressed all of them. Granted, so basically they end up, after getting served, all of a sudden, I'm able to talk to my son. So the 30 days, I was able to talk to my son. And so, you know, things kind of calm down. Because all I want is access to my child when they are with you. I've never cut off access. I answer messages, especially if they have something to do with my son. I am not gonna... The concept is to co-parent. I don't have to like you to co-parent with you. I have to co-parent with you because that's the best thing for my child. Period. The fact that you are willing to be that nasty tells me that not only are you not letting me talk to my son is hearing some of the stuff that you say. And I bet you guys are wondering, well, why doesn't the government do anything about this? Like, they're not letting you talk to your son. You don't have an address. They're not paying child support. Let me tell you something. The system is, when it comes to family court situations, first off, they have so much backlog, but it is not as efficient as you think it is. Matter of fact, cops can't even do anything because they're civil matters. So when these situations happen, there is literally no support for parents unless it is like extremely emergency serious situations. There's just nowhere to go. So it's like I'm stuck in this situation where I'm having to pay lawyers to just send simple messages. And then just to add, this person, Melvin, trying to consistently file freaking harassment claims. Every time I turn around, Melvin and Caroline, or just Melvin by himself, are showing up to things that they know or think that I'm going to be present at. So it's really interesting how I'm harassing in any way, shape, or form, and I would rather do anything than see both people. And if anything, I feel like I have the right to file for harassment, but you want to know something? Sometimes the drama for me is like, I don't want it to continue. I want it to be better because my child deserves that. So, long story long, that is where we are now. Where we are now is working with a lawyer to figure out next steps, doing the best I can to do what's best for my child, and hoping that the situation either goes in my favor, which I won't explain what I want that to be, or it actually gets reasonable. I doubt the latter, but that sort of is what it is right now. I do have more content that I'm going to post, like just kind of things I didn't talk about, but this is sort of where we are, modern day, right now. And for the people that are watching simply just for the story and not all the extras, I want to thank everybody. It, per usual, has been a journey, but there's more and it's coming. I plan on trying to post every day, so.
All right, y'all. So I was really hoping that we would get into the court situation, but obviously it's pretty obvious now, you know, what's going on and what happens to court. It's just kind of like siding with him. Seems like there's still some sort of like 50-50 arrangement, you know, kind of going on. It sounds like he has the baby on the weekends and on holidays. That's what I kind of gathered. If you gathered something else, let me know down in the comments. That's kind of what I got from it. And the rest of her videos, I mean, this would be technically like part 18 on her playlist on her page. So the rest of the videos, they're kind of just like filling you in. If she's getting some tea, if she's getting some drama, she updating you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that here. This is it. I'm going to cut it right here. I will leave the link to her TikTok down in the comment section. And so if you want to, you know, follow the story and, you know, see her ins and outs of what's going on, you're more than welcome. But I'm going to go ahead and stop this here for part 3 for us over on the channel, simply because it's no longer a flowing story. It's just updates and things are kind of at a standstill, basically. The last video she uploaded, let's see when that was. Let's see what the last update was. Let's see. Last year. It was last year. A couple days after the video we just watched. So really nothing new. So yeah, y'all go check her out. Just in case I forget to put the link down in the comments, I'm gonna go ahead and spell it out for you. Her TikTok is JBRISKO. So that's JUSTBRITTNI_. Okay. So just Brittany_ on TikTok, and she has a playlist at the top. Y'all can go ahead and check it out. We're going to go ahead and get into something fresh, something new on the next video. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions on this story time down in the comment section. I thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank y'all for sticking with me through this video. It wasn't really a story time, more so updates, but you're here. You stayed to the end. You watched and or skipped the ads. And I know you're going to comment something down below because you fuck with me, all right? So look, if you like videos from me and you want to see more is to come. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, because right now, King Day is out. Peace. The motherfucking building.
Run it up, was up. Yeah, BRISKO, I know when it's up. Run that shit, we had all the show. Say that shit for your camera roll.